Good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. 2025. I know we're already a month in. It's very exciting. I've had a great start to the year, and can't believe we're already a month down. It's going super quick. There's lots that's been going on and lots more to get through the year. So I'm jumping on today because I thought I'd give a few reflections from my last rotation at the hospital. Last week I finished paediatrics, which is medicine for children. So all the patients were under the age of 18 years old, and it was really interesting because there's a lot of ways of thinking that you have to take into pediatrics that you don't take into adult medicine, and there's a lot of diseases and pathology that you wouldn't see in the adult population as well. So that was there were great learnings, and we had great teachers along the way, and clinical staff that taught me a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it was a great run. The only downside is I did get sick in the first week back from the summer break, because all parents know that when they send their kids to preschool, they mix with all the other kids at preschool and they share their bugs and germs around the place, and then they bring those bugs and germs back home, and then people at home get sick. And so imagine that you're the one going to the preschool, and instead of one kid being sick, they're all sick, and you have to hang out with them all day, 5 days a week minimum. So that happened to me. I was at the hospital, mixing and mingling with these kids. We try and take the best approach possible to make sure that we stay clean and we wear masks and all the rest of it and wear PPE. But unfortunately, I got a viral illness and I had to be tucked up in bed for a week. But we got through that. That was all good, and haven't been sick since then, and hopefully my immunity is a little better for it long term. So the things I learned on pediatrics, the first really cool thing was that there's a certain attitude that goes along with pediatrics where everyone's super invested in the patients, and everyone's invested in the patients regardless of which population you're treating at the hospital. But with pediatrics, I think it's elevated because there's a certain vulnerability that goes with children, and everyone wants what's best for the child long term. That's 99% of the time anyway. The clinical staff are really invested in the kids. The parents want what's best for the kids because everyone wants to try and get the child to have the best possible outcome long term, and that's a little bit different from adult medicine, because with adult medicine there's a few things that are being weighed up a lot of the time, and if they're a lot older and they have a lot of comorbidities or a lot of diseases, sometimes there's a negotiation that happens with do we try and treat this patient and try and get a cure, and give them the best quality of life long term, even if there's short term pain, or do we try and keep the patient comfortable and take a more palliative care approach? And those conversations are quite common, especially when you're dealing with older patients with lots of comorbidities, but with children's medicine and pediatrics, often we want the best possible outcome. It's not always the case in terms of like whether we treat or we try and keep the patient comfortable. They're sort of the two ways of thinking, but everyone wants what's best for the kids. That's a pretty normal standard in pediatrics. So that was the first thing, just how invested everyone is in the positive outcome for the kids. The other thing I'd say is I spent a day in NICU, and NICU stands for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. So these are babies when they've just been born, but they're the really sick babies. So they're and often they're preterm. So some of them were like they'd only had 26 weeks gestation, so they'd only had 26 weeks in the uterus, and so they came. The babies were really tiny, and often when there's the babies are preterm, they have quite a few disease processes going on, because to have a fit and healthy baby, you the babies need to spend 40 weeks in gestation. That's what we call full term. So yeah, there's a bunch of reasons why they're born preterm, but when they're that preterm, often they have a lot of lung issues, or they have heart issues, and some of their digestion isn't quite right. So there's a lot going on, and from an academic perspective, it's really interesting because we get to see physiology in real time. We get to see how the body works, and it teaches us a lot about. We get to see abnormal, so that we get a better understanding of what normal is, and the body has to develop a lot in the very early stages of life, and just to make sure that they're on the right track. So there's a lot that we can do in medicine to push them on their way, but the body has to develop on its own as well, and it has quite good resilience, but there's a lot that needs to happen. So it was fascinating to see that in real time, and I took a lot of learnings away from it. The other thing we got to do in NICU was we had the opportunity to be part of a retrieval team. So what that meant was we'd be paired up with a doctor, and whenever there was a birth that wasn't going the way it should, or they often called the retrieval team from NICU to come down and help out. And essentially we were there just to be on call in case anything bad happened, or wasn't tracking correctly. And so what that meant is if the neonate, when they were born, needed resuscitating, that was our job. We needed to ensure that that the baby essentially took its first breath, right? There's a few things that need to happen as soon as they're born to ensure that they're resuscitated. But whenever a baby is born, the key thing that everyone listens out for is a cry. Right. When the baby cries, it means that their airway is open. It means that their lungs can fill up. It means that they can oxygenate their body. A lot of things happen in the body in the first 10 minutes of life. There's they perfuse all their organs and make sure that everything's working, and they change color. They go from like a gray blue color to a more pink color, so that then we know that they're getting blood to the periphery. So there's a lot that happens in the body. We also see movements of their limbs, so we can check there's appropriate tone there that can tell us a lot about their neural activity, that what's happening if they're sending signals from the brain out to their limbs. So there's a lot there, and we got to be part of the resuscitation team if the baby wasn't going through those steps initially. So that was super interesting, super exciting, quite a privilege to be a part of those teams and be in those rooms with those mothers and families, because not many people get to experience that type of thing. And it's just magic when everything goes smoothly. That's what I'd say. But everyone is it's all hands on deck when it doesn't go so smooth. So that was the other thing with paediatrics. So overall, I really enjoyed that run. I learned a bunch of stuff that I'll take forward with me. I don't think I'll be a pediatrician, but it was a really good run to be involved with. Now I'm into my critical care run. This is where I get all my excitement. This gives me a lot of juice. It fills up my cup because critical care, we've got three main aspects to it. So we've got anesthetics, we got emergency medicine, and the last one is ICU, so intensive care unit. So I suppose the reason I like this type of medicine is it's more acute. We get to patch people up and get to see them when I suppose they're at their worst, and we get to try and get them on the right track, and then we decide whether to discharge them or refer them up for more specialist care in the rest of the hospital. So yeah, this is where I think I'll land long term, although keeping an open mind. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and it's 4 days in. So we'll see what happens. But that's where I am at the moment. In other news, I'm working on this app in the background. I hinted at it a few days ago on my socials. So if you know any service-based agencies who may need better systems for their onboarding of contractors or their job management systems, then put them in touch with us. We might be able to help. And because we're new in the space, we're happy to listen to their needs and adapt the platform for their needs. So yeah, it all starts with the conversation, no obligations. And also it's just cool to meet other business owners and hear what they're doing and what their goals are. And if we can help them with their goals, that's always a bonus. It fills my cup too when people can hit their goals. So that's all from me. Hope everyone had a fantastic January. We're into February. It's going to be a good one. 2025. It's been a wild start, and I'm sure it will be continue to be epic. So that's all from me. Have a good one, everyone. See you later. Peace.